Hi guys, welcome back to the Northern Celtic podcast for week 2. All of us here really appreciate all the support and the viewings and everything we got last week on our first video. So we're now back for the next one. I'm joined with Isaac and Dan again, and I'll hand you over to Isaac.
Hello. Fantastic. Hello. Right. I'll just have a quick breakdown of what we're going to do today. So, today, as promised from the last episode, we have got the interview with the one, the only, the beast from left back Cameron Abbott, and he's going to give us a little bit of an insight into his life through football and through time at the club. But first, we're going to do a new segment that we're going to do most episodes, hopefully, is we're going to have a throwback result. And I will go back into the archives of the ISFL website, and I will look at results and we'll see if we can reminisce from them. So, Cameron, this one's particularly aimed at you generally because obviously this is themed around you, this episode. So I want you to try and cast your mind back right to Sunday the 26th of February 2017.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, you know exactly where I'm going with this. And a certain game against Great Blakenham Checkers. Away to them.
Yes.
So, and a certain 10-0 loss.
Was it only 10? Was it only 10? I thought it was more.
Cam, what do you remember about that?
Oh, well, that was my first Sunday League experience, so I didn't really go in with expecting too much, but to say I expected to initially to do better than double digits loss, but they were a very good team, and I did enjoy it thoroughly, and it's gone on since then.
Well, they did. They had this one player that scored 4 on here.
He looked like Juan Mata.
But do you remember in particular? We had 12 men, but the 12th player couldn't play because on the sign-on form it had gone on his nationality being from Afghanistan.
Yes.
It meant that he couldn't actually play.
I do remember that.
His nationality. Nothing like the good old website. We've got some originals on there as well, like Paul Moss and Ben Frost, Reece Heyman, Jamie Pope, all on there that's still here today. But I do remember that game because literally you were almost thrown in at the deep end. You were like, right, this is your first game, Cam, you're playing 90.
Yeah.
Kind of a big statement from there.
Bearing in mind I'd come from nowhere.
Sorry, Cam?
Bearing in mind I'd come from nowhere, I didn't really expect to play a full 90, but I guess that's what you get when one of your starting players turn up and their sign-on form says they're from Afghanistan. That is literally the last thing you want to hear on a Sunday morning before a game.
This is a very typical Sunday thing to happen, isn't it? I'm sure, like I say, this is before your days, Dad, so it was very much like that.
I've heard the stories, but my God.
Right. So I'll pick up a result for us to talk about next time we do this, and hopefully we can get maybe a win in there would be nice. Right, so Cam, you've been at the club for about 2 years, 2.5, 3 years now, is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I was going to say, you joined shortly after I brought you in. So, being at the club for that amount of time, you've seen a lot of the ups and the downs. So, what is your time at Northern like for you?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's just like you say, there's a lot of ups and downs, and it's just been fantastic playing football with a group of people who share the same drive and determination, really. And so, I would describe my overall time as very positive in amongst varying results. Let's put it like that.
Yes, definitely. We're seeing both ends of it.
Yeah, Cameron, based on what you've just said, what brought you to this club? What brought you to this side of the club?
The opportunity, really. Before Northern Celtic popped up, before Isaac asked me, it was just a regular day. We were just sitting, Isaac was around mine, sitting in my kitchen, and you just turned to, I think you told my mum first, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I asked your mum.
And then I just remember after that, after you left, because I don't think you mentioned it to me before you left. And Mum just said, Isaac asked if you were interested in playing football, and then, well, as they say, the rest is history, really.
The rest is history, definitely. Yeah,
definitely sounds like a history.
Yeah, it completely is. It is. Since that day, since you've come on, you've definitely got a lot of heart and you know, it's to have that someone else that loves the club like properly will do anything for it. Like if you ever come and watch us play, anyone that's listening, Cam has done everything from play to lino. He has been there for everyone in the team. So not just on the pitch but off the pitch. I've got a lot of respect for you, Cam, for the way that you take yourself.
Hats off to you, because even when we're losing on the sidelines, when you're linesman, you're still motivating us. And that's really good to hear.
A lot of people, and I know a lot of people in the squad really appreciate that, but don't say it, and they've said it to me. So I think, complete, round of applause to you, mate.
It's just the opportunity. That was it, because I really didn't have many opportunities. There's teams I tried to get with who just said they didn't want me. So when the opportunity came to play for Celtic, I wasn't really going to surpass it since I've been wanting to play again.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now, looking at the question that I asked Dan last week as well, I want to ask you, what is your best Sunday League moment that you've had so far?
I don't know. Probably getting injured, to be honest, because I remember it wasn't too long ago. It was this season. I remember I picked up an injury, strained myself during. I think it was sort of towards the end of the first half, and I remember talking to Adam, our manager, at half time, saying I don't know how much I got left in me. And then in the end, I think we had to use our substitutes in different ways, meaning that we didn't have a backup defender, so I had to play the full 90. But that second half, I felt I played incredibly, a lot more better than the first half as a whole, because I had to start thinking more smartly about the tackles and the interceptions I was making, because I wasn't able. I like to think that I can get up and down our half anyway. Maybe not. I don't really venture too much into the opponent's half all the time. I'm a very traditional fullback. I'm not really the modern-esque fullback, but I didn't have that. I struggled with that mobility getting back and forwards. So when I had, and plus it didn't help how I had pacey wingers running at me like you do in every Sunday League game. But I had to play more smartly, and I actually managed to land a few slide tackles in there. And I mean, even though I'm physical in my game, I don't tend to go to ground too often.
You win your headers and tackles, and we love that from you, sir.
So Cameron, why do they call you the Dirty 30?
Well, that goes back to my during my first sort of half, because I joined in February. It was sort of towards the end of that season, and I remember we played one of our closest rivals, Ipswich Pythons, and it was the first time they'd ever seen me in that game. And to be honest, I made quite the impression by sending their winger over like a sack of potatoes, and I was wearing the 30 shirt.
Sounds like a classic Sunday League tackle.
Trust me, it was. And I remember that I think he began talking to his centre mid, and his centre mid picked up that I mean, at the time, it was just a random shirt that I picked up, but he noticed that I was wearing 30, and so the winger started calling me the Dirty 30 for the rest of the game. And to be honest, the name and the number, in fact, have kind of stuck since then.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's something we always
intriguing. It's a different kind of nickname, but you take it on the
could
chin.
Be worse. It could be Tim. Couldn't it, Dad?
Thank you,
Charlie. Right, let me move on to the next question then. So, Cam, for you, this season's been quite good for you, because this is the first season you come back from being back from having your serious injury that we'll talk about later on in the podcast. But how did you think that the season, went for you personally?
I know it's not one of the most ambitious sort of objectives that people have set, especially like Dan, for example, trying to get as many goals. I've forgotten how much he said, but you wanted to get a certain amount. But my main aim this season was just to play football for a change, to play without, injuring myself, and to get more experience under my belt. And I felt like I achieved that this season. I really didn't. I attended every game. there really wasn't many injuries. There was a few hiccups, maybe along the way, a few strains, pulled muscles, but nothing too drastic. And I felt I achieved that this season, and I've moved forward as a player from that.
Yeah, and coming back from your injury, that like Isaac said, we'll touch on it a bit later. That was a serious injury, but coming back from that and playing your football must be a really good for a personal basis for you.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. It was. I remember it was when I got injured, when I had the serious injury. It was approaching the hottest time of the year, and the sun was out every day, and you're looking out that window as you sit there with your foot up, and you just want to get out there and hit the grass running. But it's to finally get back out there.
We all know that feeling, Cameron.
Yeah.
We all know that feeling. And touching on from Isaac's question, this is sort of related. How did you feel the season went as a whole?
I think we done well, to be honest. It was more character development as a season rather than
I like the way you put that. That's right.
Rather than going for the direct finished product, because of course you can't say that we weren't going for promotion. We weren't trying to win the league, because every club is trying to do that. At the end of the day, we play football to win, and but overall though, this season we were learning each other, how each individual player played, because for circumstances we had loads of new players come in, which is fantastic. We've had some fantastic people come in who I look up to, and we've been developing on learning how each other plays, and working on tactics and bases. I mean, a lot of our season we've been playing with a lot of different formations, for example, which some have suited other players better than others, and so I think we can overall, from what I see we can take from this season is that it's sort of like a stepping stone. So hopefully next season we know who we are. We have an identity now. We can try and push for that promotion to Division 3.
I love the way that you've put that, Cam. It was a character building season. I think that's a really nice way of looking at it. Right. This question, I thought there's a lot of things that happened to you over the course of the Sundays. So, what would you consider as possibly the funniest moment that's involved you from on a Sunday? Because I know there's a couple in particular that we've from the sideline have been on the pitch. It's like, what on earth is going on?
And you witnessed it firsthand. It's really funny, but oh dear.
So, Cam, what do you think?
I don't know. I've had some funny scenarios. Probably the identity mix-up had to be one of my favourite ones. when I got mixed for when I nearly got booked for mistaken identity because I got accused of a foul tackle, even though it was the centre back beside me. But that was definitely very funny.
We all just you look nothing alike.
The funniest moment for me, Cam, for you is when you gave a foul away for someone literally running through you, and you face planted to the floor.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That was.
Now, moving on to the next question, Cam. Who do you think our toughest opponent, or your toughest opponent, has been this season or in your previous seasons?
It's a good question, because the game can vary in difficulties depending on factors that you have. So, for example, I would say something like this season against Ipswich Elite, when we only had 10 men. But we really turned up, though, even though we had 10 men. And before that game, we looked at the fixtures that they had, and they've been putting 10, 15 past nearly every team every week in, week out. And so when we turned up to their door with 10 men and no substitutes, we were really sitting there just like, well, we're accepting the worst. But in the end, I think, what was it? Was it only 5-0, Isaac?
It was
5-1 or something.
5-1?
It was 5. No, it didn't. It was 5-0.
5-0?
It was a result that, like I say, it was like what you were saying about that drive and determination. I think it happens in most scenarios when you go down to 10 men, or when you start with 10 men, you think, right, I know we probably aren't going to win this, but let's try and do damage limitation and do what you can, and you almost go out and play better, don't you?
Well, yeah, it came as a real surprise, to be honest. I mean, it was very against the run of form that Elite had shown, but I think it comes down to our character that we showed in that game, and like you said, the determination which got us through that.
Right. So, moving on to looking at how your football career has been and how it's currently going. It's been an interesting one to see from looking on point of view, because it's not been what you would consider a traditional footballing career to this stage. So what are some of the highest points of your footballing career so far, and then some of the lowest points as well, and how you dealt with them?
You are right, it's been ups and lows. Probably to be honest, it started off quite high. I remember I first started playing football for my primary school team. I remember we went to an event and I played striker, and I think it was 7 goals in 3 or 4 games that we had past them, and I was a striker, and I was really enjoying it. But then over time and personal matters off the field, I lost that position in the team eventually, and I lost a lot of love for football that day. And I lost that.
That sort of do what it did for me, sort of make you fall out of love with it.
Yeah, and I never really played. I didn't really start properly playing until the later years of high school again, when I started going in goal. Ironically,
when you used to play with like Levi and
teammates. But then definitely the highest point so far has to be when Isaac offered me the place for Northern Celtic and joining here. I mean, it's been quite a journey overall. I mean, not just for me anyway, but across the field anyway. Bearing in mind that I started off smacking 7 past in the goal in 3 games, and now I'm playing fullback and I can't hit the broadside of a barn door with a shot from 2 yards. I mean, everybody at Northern Celtic knows I'm not the.
I can give you some shooting drills.
Let's put it like this: there's definitely a reason why I play fullback and not up top anymore. Let's put it like that. And it's quite funny as well, because I've been bunged on in typical Sunday League fashion. I've been bunged on at other positions as well. I mean, I've played everywhere across the back line. I played left wing, I've played right wing, I've played centre attack and mid. I remember that game. It was about the 80th minute, and I was told to literally just go and mark their centre forward, and I followed him around for the whole final 10 minutes practically. But yeah, it's been quite the journey overall.
So what's your lowest point then, Cameron?
Definitely losing that place in my primary school team. From what I...
Oh, awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Dan, have you got the next one?
Yes. So you did your serious ankle injury in college.
Yeah.
So what is your advice for someone coping with an injury in the mental side of it and also the physical side of it? Because it can't be easy coming back from it from either end, because they must have challenges.
No. Well, basically, what I'd done is I remember I was playing. You were there, weren't you, Dan, at college?
I was there, but I wasn't there when you did your ankle.
Yeah.
I knew you did your ankle, but I didn't see what injury you did.
No, so I'd seriously damaged 3 of my Achilles ligaments in my ankle, and I'd also splinter fractured my shin and dislocated it all as well. So it was in quite a state. To be honest, I remember I was sitting in the A&E department, and the woman came through and said, "It looks like it's just a sprain," and then looked down at my foot and went, "That is definitely a lot of swelling for a sprain," and then disappeared for another 10 minutes. So I knew it wasn't going to be all sunshine and rainbows, quick recovery. But no, definitely the hardest part of it all was, like I said earlier, coming home and sitting on the couch, because I was on the couch for about 2-3 months, not really doing anything at all. And
that must have a really sort of mental effect on you, because obviously when you're seeing your mates outside in the sun having a kick about, and you really want to join in, but you just can't because you don't want to make it worse. So that must really take a affect your mindset.
It wasn't just that as well. It was looking outside, seeing you play, and it was also. There's a lot of other, especially for Sunday League players like us, where we have other commitments and jobs and everything as well. When you get injured like that, it has a knock-on and domino effect on stuff like that. So even though I'd done this ankle, I'm pretty sure it was like Easter holidays time, I was on the couch for 2 to 3 months, and I was doing a bricklaying course at the time. And in the end, I was lucky that I was ahead on work at the time, because if I wasn't ahead on work, I probably wouldn't have passed the course in the time, because I only managed to get back to college.
No, you came back about the last 4 weeks, isn't it?
I think it was 3 weeks.
You were kind of fine.
I was kind of very fine.
Ahead.
But that definitely really shows how the effect of football is not just, at this level, it's not just on the game and what you're doing for the football. It has a knock-on effect on the rest of your life, and it can affect your happiness and how well you're getting on with other things. I know I can speak from experience from injuries. It has been a nightmare, but I've never had anything that serious. But what I've seen and respected you for completely is the fact that you stuck to your regimented, your timetable, and you came back early, and you've been 110% better than what you were before your injury, which is crazy. So it's been quality. So
and you can take on the chin that this is your first season without really having a serious injury. You might have little knocks, but you can take a huge amount of credit for your season, and you've played really well in all the games you played. So you don't need to be hard on yourself, because coming back from an injury like that could be a career ender.
It definitely. Anything down in the department of ligaments is a tough one, and coming back from it, it was a noticeable. I had time to sit back and watch other players and learn the positions and the roles which they play, and and other areas of the field. And I came back, and it definitely showed on the pitch. I remember the manager coming back and saying to me that he actually threatened to break both my legs so I could come back as Jordi Alba, apparently. So.
Oh, yes, I remember that story.
So, Cam, to finish off with, what are your aspirations for next season? What are you looking to achieve?
Personally, I'm definitely looking to press forward with the promotion train. Definitely push and push myself. More importantly, I want to definitely the strongest ambition is to improve my attacking prowess, because my dream would be to give Adam, the manager, the option of using wing-backs at a time, perhaps experimenting with wing-backs. But for anybody to play wing-back, you have to be incredibly fit. You have to be your attacking prowess, your dribbling, your crossing. You need to have a lot of attributes to be a wing-back, and I definitely want to. I feel I have some of them traits, but definitely I wasn't the attacking player that I once was, and that and that I do want to try and fight back and get some of that magic back, hopefully, one day.
Yeah, definitely.
But that will all come in time, playing wing back, like you say. That's not easy.
It's not easy.
90 minutes running backwards and forwards.
I can speak from experience. It is a hard position to play. So, so Cam, and thank you very much. I mean, that's been. I mean, I know from knowing you so well, it's really nice to hear it. And I know from the players that are listening to this, and from people who are listening to this, it's really important to take on board how the football affects your life as well as just the game, and how you can deal with different scenarios, and it is about keeping that attitude. So I want to say thank you to you both again for being here again for episode 2. Episode 3, I believe you guys are interviewing me, so we'll be doing the
getting your view.
Trinity. between the three of us. And like I say, we should hopefully upload the next one sort of within a time span. It just depends on what the outlook is from other people. But from us here at the Northern Podcast, thank you for listening, and
Thank
hope
you.
to see you. Not to see you again soon. We won't be seeing anyone. So hopefully listen again soon. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.